super loved one. Welcome back. This is a weekly update for the super loved relationship video, but it's a different setup, as you can see. I'm experimenting a little and just seeing what this is going to be like if I don't film the desk, but actually film myself while I'm putting out the spread for you. Um, well, as I've said in previous updates, this intention, the reading is supposed to be timeless. That's an intention I have for it. And if you, for some reason, feel like you're not resonating with it, then please don't watch it because there's many readers out there on YouTube and resources that can help you on your journey. But I'm very glad you're here. So my intention also is to keep it brief. And that's a challenge because the super loved relationship, I've been talking about that in previous readings. And we're also working on a film that will explain the concept a little bit more. But basically, it's a love relationship, a romantic relationship between two partners that are using the relationship as a means to learn to love more unconditionally. So that means learning lessons, being aware of what's going on, being willing to forgive, the four pillars. So for this week, I'm going to take a look at some central themes, and then we're going to look at the four pillars and see what we can pay attention to for this coming week. So I hope you're ready. I know I am, and this is just for me a little bit getting used to, but that's all right. Let's see, because this is the journey, the sacred travel oracle. Let's see what is up for us in the journey. Fogged in, we're getting. So that says, go slow and take time. Well, this card sort of makes sense to me because the world is in a very strange time still. We are quarantined mostly due to the coronavirus, and we've already been quarantined for over 2 months now, approaching 3 months, I think, actually. So no wonder people start to feel a bit drained, a bit closed in, a bit restricted, because at first we had to get used to things. And that took up our time and attention, and now we are used to life at home mostly, and we might experience this feeling like, oh my God, I'm really beginning to feel like I'm locked up a little bit. In your relationship, that might feel the same because now if you're living in your house with your partner, you are forced more to spend more time together, and that can also feel restrictive, especially if you're in a type of relationship where you could still, work a little bit to let go a little bit and forgive a little bit, because in those types of relationships, often there are things that are not said, they're not talked about, and that's sort of creating tension. So fogged in, to me, at this point means we can really take some time to slow down and maybe figure out what it is that is making us feel this way. I think this is very important for this coming week. Impasse is the next card. Reflect and redirect your energy. Well, that's basically everything I just said. So no further questions. Could you give us one last card for this coming week, what we can pay attention to on our journey, please? Well, this one clearly wants to come out. In the flow, everything is smooth sailing. Well, it's interesting because there is vehicles in these cards, and this card in the flow is sort of saying that if we relax and we surrender to this fogged in situation where maybe we don't see everything as clear as we would like, it's going to be smooth sailing. So no resistance. And if you have resistance, you are completely entitled to having your resistance, but know that that won't solve the problem. So what will solve the problem or help you move into a positive direction is acknowledging that you feel resistance and then sort of soothe yourself. And if you are able to do that together with your love partner, then that's even better because you can help each other create this energy or move your energy back into this harmonious movement where you can experience a feeling of in the flow. Well, having said that, let's move the theme cards up a little bit. And what I would like to do is take a look at the main theme for our awareness this week. That should be interesting because the themes are already talking about some things that are not flowing as smoothly as we would like. So what can you tell us is the main theme for our awareness in our love relationship this week? Super loved. What about awareness? We get the dark moon. Well, that's exactly this theme. And I watch some YouTube. I watch some readers on YouTube myself. One of my favorite people to watch is Erica Elmutz, and I really recommend checking her work out. She's amazing. But she usually says you can't make this stuff up, and you really can't. The dark moon, our awareness at this point is still a bit clouded. Like we are fearful maybe to see what is behind the veil, what is behind the fog. And many of us have a tendency to sit still and stay put, like an animal that's frozen when in the dark, a car approaches and you see those light beams and you see this little rabbit and it's frozen. We tend to do that. And then sometimes we make a lot of noise, like the wolf is, howling at the moon, but we're not really getting through to anything. Like that's resistance, that we can't see what's happening. So what is it that you would like to share with us about the awareness in the dark moon? We're not listening to our intuition. And we're getting the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is an emotional card that talks about great loss. And it says that even though you feel like everything might be lost, not all is lost, because there are still two cups that are standing, but the person in the card is not looking at them. So he's not aware of the cups behind him. He's just focused on this sadness. So I feel that for some of you, this is general reading, so it won't resonate for everybody, but for some of you, we are trying to keep our sadness, our stress, our conflict away from our awareness. Like we try to hide them, like we create the fog ourselves so we don't have to feel how we're really feeling. And just a word of advice from me to you. Sometimes this is a useful technique because sometimes you are experiencing feelings, emotions that are very overwhelming, and it's not always wise to express them in the immediate instant you are experiencing them in. But structurally hiding them from your partner, but ultimately from yourself, is not a smart thing to do. Because if you talk about things like burnout, sleepless nights, irritation, depression, all of these, I'm convinced, are connecting to this disconnect from your own feelings. So pay attention to your awareness this week, and what is it? What pain is it that is trying to make itself seen to you and that you are maybe not so willing to face? Personal growth is the second pillar for our super loved relationship. What can you tell us about the theme for this coming week, Monday, the 25th of May? What's important to know? We get the Lovers, but the dark Lovers. Okay, so this tells me, in addition to the dark moon, that this coming week is not going to be the easiest week as far as working on your relationship is concerned, because this card is showing that the connection might not be as fluent as it can be, or as it normally is, maybe. And I'm just feeling that for some reason it is okay to be in that moment for a while. This week clearly is not going to be a week where energetically we are flying high as far as love is concerned. It might have to do with the fact that Venus, the planet Venus, is retrograde at this moment. So that's causing to stir up a lot of emotions, questions about former relationships, maybe former partners, partners of a previous relationship returning to your life for some reason, and that can cause up a lot of emotions. So love, is a theme that it's very active in the cosmos these days and weeks. And together with the lovers, the dark lovers, we get the strength card. So the strength is in accepting that we are together, maybe physically, but not spiritually, but we will be. You know, strength is about the lion and the girl. The lion representing like the masculine, strong, active, fiery energy, the action, the ego, also sometimes said. And the girl is like the feminine energy, the intuitive one, the soft, gentle, caring energy. And she's taming the lion, like she has control over the lion. So this tells me that in our personal growth, we will find that our relationship this week is not the main vessel for our personal growth, but that's okay because it still means we are still growing, even if we don't really experience that in the moment. There's a lot of strength found in, you know, being able to let the current moment be what it is, instead of trying to force it to be something that it's not. All right, so the third pillar for the super loved relationship is willingness. Let's see what the central theme for this coming week is for the willingness. Wow, willingness. The High Priestess, and we get the light version of the High Priestess. So as far as our willingness is concerned, we are very willing this week to connect to our higher faculties, our higher knowledge, go inward and connect to our inner wisdom about things. Let's see, what would you like to talk to us about our willingness as far as the High Priest is concerned? This one. Oh, we get the Lovers. Interesting. So this tells me that we are very willing this week to go inward, connect to our own inner knowledge, and research our love experience there. Because the blocks that we might be feeling this week, moving from the fogged in card to the dark moon, to the dark lovers and personal growth, tells me that physically it may look and it may seem like development and growth and evolving is not happening, but it is happening, because the actual lessons that we're learning are happening intuitively, energetically, and that's not something that we can very easily perceive with our physical eyes. We can't, you know, see energy. We're very limited in the light spectrum to what we can perceive. So intuitively, we are very strongly, we're willing to connect to our intuition. We're willing to connect to our love and to the choice that we can make to experience love. And that's really beautiful, because that tells me that learning is happening, and very much so, in fact. So for forgiveness, we're getting the Devil and the light version of the Devil. So the Devil represents our attachment to many different things, like addictions, our physical existence, which holds a lot of opportunities for us to be addicted, from food to smoking to drugs to abusive behavior, emotional like codependency or abuse. There's many different things. Powerlessness, the feeling of, you know, somebody else having power over you. The Devil shows us all these kinds of connections and fears that we're having. And this week, we have an opportunity to research those fears and forgive what we come across, because they are holding important lessons to learn about what we are attached to. What can you tell us about the devil? Yeah, we get the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands is a conflict card. And it's not, it usually is depicted like it's something like a war. It's not really talking about a war, but it's like clashing opinions, and it's usually outside opinions. It can also be inner struggle, so your own opinions. But we are this week very much asked to look at our outer world and where we are attached to certain things. And our outer world is a bit limited in this time period due to the coronavirus situation. So it's an invitation to go more inwards and explore your own struggle, but also in relationship to your partner, like what's happening there and what can I forgive? Because I have, and we all do, plenty of pictures in my mind about how things should be, what they should look like, and what is perfect and what is not. And the devil is sort of asking us to confront all these pictures and sort of let them go and just be there to witness your struggle. So I'm going to ask for a clarifier on the Five of Wands. Do you want to tell us anything more about the devil and the Five of Wands? Yeah. Yeah, so we're getting the Three of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles is about working together. So I really feel that in the forgiveness area, if you have been there with yourself in connection to your own intuition, which was the willingness with the Lover's card, you've been willing to connect to the love, then the forgiveness is something that you can do successfully with your partner. If you make a point of making it a conscious thing, don't be carried away in struggles where you are never really approaching the actual issue or what's underneath the surface, where you just get lost in superficial, bickering about stuff. That's never just happening without a reason. And this card is basically talking about that, like the bickering on the surface. And the question is, what is beneath? Which pictures, which attachments, which addictions are there? And it could be an addiction to chocolate or an addiction to Netflix. It also could be an addiction to not talking to each other, because then you stay on safe grounds. And that's what the Super Love Relationship is here to help you understand that doesn't work. So to close off this reading, I would like to grab a couple of theme cards. I think I'm going to use a Moonology deck just because it's a great deck. What advice do you have for us this week as far as these themes are going? Because it appears to be quite an intense week that we have ahead. Well, actually, this one wants to come out. It's time to take action. New moon in Aries. So there we get the fiery energy. And that's an energy that will really prompt us into action. And the guidance is be careful with that. Because if it's prompting you into action that is an open conversation with your partner, where you sit down, you both have a cup of coffee, and you talk to each other heart to heart, if that's the action, that's perfect. But if it's the fiery action of resistance because you are feeling fogged in, that could be causing more negativity. And that's a thing that we should pay attention to and be aware of. What else? Bring love into the situation. Again, you cannot make this up. If you feel you are being sucked into this action energy and you realize it's a bit negative, then please remember, stop, remember to be aware. You're here for personal growth. You are willing to connect to your intuition. You're willing to connect to love. Bring love into the situation. And then you can start forgiving any conflict that you have. You don't always have to win every battle. Pick your battles is a wise saying, because in the end, it's not really about being right or wrong. A Course in Miracles teaches us a very important lesson by asking us one simple question. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? If you want to be happy, this is your choice. Bring love into the situation. Is there any other word of advice? Oh, there's plenty of words of advice. We're going to choose one more. Be bold and make the first move, the cardinal moon. So this is an energy where you are asked to be the first to step forward if you feel that you are in a situation which is, stressful, or, when you're on the verge of having a fight and you're not really sure what's going to happen. Be bold and make the first move, but going towards the peaceful outcome and not be tempted into going into the fight. All right, one last card for this coming week. What spiritual lesson is interesting for us to remember this coming week? Earth School. Life lessons, soul growth, study, and higher learning. To close this reading off with, it may not be an easy week in every respect, but that's okay because you came to Earth to learn. And Super Loved Relationship is the ultimate playground for you to learn. If you are willing to understand that you are awareness and you have the freedom to be aware of things, if you are into personal growth, like you want to ascend your knowledge, your wisdom, your personal growth, if you are willing to do this, and forgiveness is a tool that is familiar to you, you are in the perfect time, the perfect place on Earth to practice all these things. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it like this. I'm very curious to see what this looks like, but I'm excited as well. So I will see you again soon. Bye.